Welcome to Vinyl Dens, channel 33 RPM. This is the segment where we check out cool music rooms from across the vinyl community and around the world. First one comes from Ivor, and Ivor lives near Toronto, Canada. Ivor writes, "Hi Frank, my name is Ivor Hamilton. I am 65, and I spent my entire career in the music business with a 35-year stint at Universal Music and almost 10 years at CFNY in Toronto before finally hanging up the headphones at the end of 2023. Awesome. Sounds like a great career, Ivor. He goes on to say, "Unlike most people who decide to downsize when they retire, I did the opposite and sold my house in Toronto and got a bigger place that could properly hold my music collection. I packed up and moved to Niagara on the Lake in July of 2024, and I got to say, man, this place looks awesome." Ivor says, "I now have a new house for me and my golden retriever Ella with a newly installed custom music room to accommodate my collection with a bit of room to grow as well." I love this space, man. I love all those built-ins and all the custom cabinetry. Obviously, you can tell this was a labor of love. Ivor writes, "My collection consists mainly of rock, alternative, classic rock, punk, reggae, prog, blues, and folk." He's got 8,000 records, 3,300 7-inch singles, 5,000 music magazines, 25,000 CDs, 750 DVDs and Blu-rays, 100 VHS tapes, and 500 music books. 500 music books. That is a massive collection. He writes, "The shelving in my music room is all custom built. I purposely had it built slightly larger and deeper than IKEA shelves in order to be able to properly store the larger format boxes." That totally makes sense to me. He says the shelves are also backlit to give it a nicer look for display purposes. And he said the team that built all the shelving also built custom drawers for all the 45s, and they built the DJ console. Ivor says, talking about his audio systems, he says, "This is kind of overkill and probably why I am single, but I have 3 major systems for listening to within the same room." Okay, so in his office music room, it's got a bunch of stuff here, including an Onkyo amp, Klipsch speakers, and a Project Rolling Stones turntable. I love the fact that Project kind of does these custom turntables for certain bands. Like they did Metallica, they did Pink Floyd. So I'm digging that. In the music room, he also has a video playback system, including a 102-inch pull-down screen, an Epson projector, and another Onkyo amp. And then his main audio system in the music room, it's got a bunch of stuff here, including that custom DJ console in the middle of the room. And his 2 main turntables there are Technics SL1200s. And he's also got a bunch of music memorabilia throughout the house. Ivor wrote, "I have put photos of memorable moments from my music career along the beams across the basement. Some great pics with acts such as Deep Purple, The Stones, The Hip, Kate Bush, Ian Hunter, and many others." And as I said, he's got them all over his house as well, hanging on the walls upstairs. Man, Ivor, you have had an awesome career, obviously, and your music room and your home is a perfect reflection of that. Thank you for sharing this space with us, man. Cheers. All right, this next music room comes from Mel in New Zealand, and Mel holds the title now of being the first female ever featured on Vinyl Dens. After years of doing this segment, this is the first woman to ever submit a music room, which is awesome, and I encourage more females to please send me your music rooms, because I'd love to see them, and this is an awesome space. Mel writes, "I've been watching your channel for a couple of years and enjoy watching your videos. Awesome, thank you so much." She writes, "I haven't noticed any females sending their Vinyl Dens in, so I thought I would," and I do appreciate that, Mel. Hopefully you've broken the ice here. Mel wrote, "My retro vinyl den might be a little different than to what you usually see, and also maybe the first vinyl room that used to be a kitchen." It is. This is the first former kitchen submitted to be in Vinyl Dens. She writes, "I'm a big classic rock, psychedelic rock fan and bought my first records when I was a teenager in the 1990s. My fiance and I bought our house last year. It had 2 kitchens, so we started pulling out the old one the first weekend we moved in. see picture. So there you go on the screen. And Mel says, this is now my retro 60s, 70s themed vinyl room. And I have to say, it's my favorite room in the house. This is cool, man. I love the orange and the retro look and vibe of the whole place. Mel writes, the room is quite small and cozy, about 4 by 3 meters, which is about 13 by 9 feet, and is in the middle of the house, so we can listen to music loud without disturbing the neighbors. She says, I have around 300 records, mostly classic rock and some metal. And she says, last year my fiance proposed to me with the Rolling Stones Sticky Fingers album, with a note that was hiding inside the movable zipper, as you can see right here in the picture. And that note says, will you be my wife? Which of course is perfect for a record collector and a Stones fan. Mel writes, I play my albums on a Riga Planner 1 turntable with a Pioneer receiver and a Behringer preamp and Wharfdale speakers. She says she also has a small TV in the room that I watched an occasional music video on, and of course, channel 33 RPM. Mel, I appreciate that. And she says, I hope you love my vinyl room, and I hope to get featured on an upcoming video. I do love it, and you were featured today. Very cool. Mel writes, peace, love, and rock and roll. Are you interested in submitting your Vinyl Den for consideration on a future episode of Vinyl Dens? I would love to hear from you. All the information you need to know is in the description below this video. Check it out and drop me an email.
Channel 33 RPM.
All right, this next one comes from Eric Larson, and Eric is in the Seattle, Washington area, and he previously sent me in a miniature scale music room, which I showed in April 2024, which was very cool. Eric put a lot of time into that mini music room, and it looks awesome. And he's back today showing me his real life full-size music room, which is also very cool. Eric wrote, I built my house in 2000 in Seattle, Washington. He says, I have a detached garage with a music studio / home office above the garage. He says, I have a collection of vintage 70s audio equipment. He says, I listen to a wide variety of music, including rock, metal, jazz, world beat, Brazilian, and so on. And he plays drums, and he has a variety of music-related books and all media formats, including records, CDs, MP3s, and cassettes. Man, this jam room music space looks freaking awesome. Eric also writes, down in the garage below my music room, I also have a massive slot car track where we have race night and spin vinyl and groove on tunes. Man, I used to love those slot cars when I was a kid, and I imagine I would still have fun with it today. So, love it. Eric writes, here is to the good life. Cheers. Here's to the good life indeed. Eric, I dig what you've done, and I love your spaces. Both levels. Very cool. This comes from Morton, and Morton writes, hi Frank, I've been watching a lot of your videos lately, and it has been fun and giving me a lot of inspiration. Glad you dig the videos, man. He says, I'm a 39-year-old graphic designer from Denmark and started my vintage vinyl setup about 5 or 6 years ago. When we bought our current house, I found a vintage Thorens TD-165 turntable in the basement. Oh, that's a cool find when you buy a new house. He says, I didn't know much about turntables, but started researching, and now I am neck deep. That tends to happen, man. He says, I then got a flagship receiver from a brand called Tandberg. And then he found some Tandberg monitor speakers from the same era, 1975 to 1980. I wasn't familiar with Tandberg, but they were an electronics manufacturer in Norway that was acquired by Cisco Systems in 2010, according to Wikipedia. Morton writes, all my records are from my dad-in-law, so I have yet to buy my first record. Okay, cool. He says, as a designer, I really love the feel and look of all the vinyl jackets, which sometimes is a little piece of art. He says he loves the warm sound he gets from the needle, and he can really feel it when the speakers move. So that's very cool, man. I love the gear. I love the space, and I love those 2 chairs as well. All right, heading to another part of the world. This next one comes from Joel in Japan. And this may be, I think this is my first submission I've ever received from Japan. Joel writes, hi, my name is Joel, a 46-year-old American expat living in Japan for the past 26 years. In the early to mid-90s, when I was a student, used records were cheaper than used CDs, so I bought records to supplement my collection when I was low on cash. Fast forward several years to around 2005, I digitized all my CDs and I left my record collection and about half my CDs to collect dust back in the States. Then he says sometime around 2017 or so, after getting a divorce, he started hanging out regularly with some serious vinyl heads. Those serious vinyl heads can be big trouble. Joel writes, I thought I was immune to the allure, but a record shop opened up a few minutes from my apartment, and before I realized it, I was picking up vinyl again. He says, if you've never been to Japan, it has to be some of the best record shopping on the planet. Japan is definitely on my bucket list, and I hope to get there in the next 5 years, because I do hear it's a super cool place to visit, and I am very curious to check out those record stores. Joel says he has 2 main setups, including a DJ setup and just a regular stereo setup. His main setup includes a Technics SL1200 Mark IV turntable. Mark IV turntables are pretty rare here in Canada anyway, so it's cool to see that. Dig the space, man. Cheers. Okay, this comes from Tommy in Denmark, another submission from Denmark. Tommy writes, my name is Tommy, I'm 53 years old, I live in Denmark, and I just started collecting a couple of months ago. Okay, this is cool, he's new to the hobby. So he says his collection is still kind of small, he has about 50 records, and he has 2 rooms that he listens to music in, his living room and a mini man cave, which used to be the dining room. I dig the cleanliness and simplicity of the space. And the living room is set up, includes a NAD receiver, an NAD Blu-ray player, and a Denon DP3000NE turntable. I've never tried one of those Denon turntables, but I love the look of them, and I want to get my hands on one of them someday, just because I just hear good things. In his man cave, he's got a B&O 2000 system. I dig the chair and all his bottles. It looks like a great hangout space. This comes from Johnny in Kentucky, USA, and he writes, hi, my name is Johnny. I'm 48 years old. And I'm from Covington, Kentucky. I hope I said that right. He says he's been collecting CDs and vinyl since the late 80s. He says he originally just collected rock, glam, punk, but in the last few years has started getting into funkier music. This is a loaded music room, man. Tons of cool stuff in here. Johnny says, my den is in what used to be the dining room, but we have an eat-in kitchen, so I took this room over. His gear includes a Technics SL100C turntable, a Fluon subwoofer, Fluon's 3-way tower speakers, a Project preamp, and what else? A Marantz PM6000N receiver. And Johnny says he has 1,900 records and 400 CDs. Very nice size collection, very cool space. All right, 33ers, thank you for making it to the end of the video. Let me know what you thought of today's DENS in the comments below. I will be back really soon. Until then, keep on spinning.